Anyway, don't worry, my names are going all over the place. We're talking about the dangers of going online for mental health advice now. Now, it's estimated that almost 2 million Brits are on waiting lists for NHS therapy, and going private costs anywhere from £40 to £100 per session, and actually could be more. So people are looking for a cheaper fix and a quick fix, I guess.
Yeah, more and more people are turning to AI chatbots for mental and emotional help. And some of the reasons are that it is more accessible, it's instant therapy there, at the touch of a button, but it's also more affordable. So I find this really interesting. So I went to investigate, how accessible are these, but also what are the risks that come with it.
Artificial intelligence is transforming how we live, work, and connect with the world around us.
AI-powered chatbots like this are becoming increasingly popular. You can type in any question or share what's on your mind, and within seconds it replies with what reads like a thoughtful human conversation. I find them useful when I want to research a specific topic, but some people are opening up to chatbots about their emotions and even using them as a form of therapy.
Grace Parkin decided she needed to talk to someone after her mum died in 2020.
I tried a couple of different avenues with therapy, but it just didn't seem to work. And then earlier this year, I was sort of feeling a type of way, and I just kind of started typing away with ChatGPT.
So talk me through that moment. You're obviously feeling down. So you put it in, the reply that you got, how did that make you feel?
I typed it out, and it's normal to feel this way, Grace. And it was kind of conversational. It wasn't just I'm telling you this information and that's the answer.
Like, tell me some of the other things that you found are beneficial for using your chatbot.
I think just having, to be able to do it in a private space without fear of judgment.
Does it ever worry you that it's not an actual real person that you're talking to?
Not for me. I have quite a lot of people in my life who I can talk to, and I think if I didn't have any other people in my life, then it might be cause for concern, but I think the way I use it, I have a good balance.
Grace uses her chatbot subscription for other purposes, not just therapy, but at £20 a month it's much cheaper than the cost of a private therapy session. I want to know what a human therapist makes of that choice, so I'm meeting Susie Masterson, an approved member of the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy.
I am intrigued and fascinated with how many people are turning to AI chatbots for therapy these days. Why do you think this is happening?
Because of convenience. It's always on, it's always there, and it takes away all the accessibility issues.
But do you feel that AI therapy can replace what we have in the human form?
I don't think it can replace it. I think there's some definite pros. So it can be really good for things like giving us prompts for healthier habits. It can provide advice about certain situations. But I think if there are more complex cases, like people with trauma, or actually people who are struggling with relationships, I think, chatbots are going to reach their limit. I think we should be mindful that with all digital applications, they're designed to keep us on the platform, to sort of make us dependent. And that can have real issues for people if they have tendencies towards addiction, or if they are struggling with loneliness.
In August this year, a couple in California filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, claiming its chatbot, ChatGPT, had encouraged their son to take his own life by validating some of his most harmful and self-destructive thoughts. Maddie is a freelance journalist and writes for London paper The Standard. She decided to see for herself how AI chatbots would respond when she turned to them for mental health advice.
I was intrigued as someone that has done person-to-person therapy, how it would compare. I basically found that it's very good at offering base level responses and support, but it's not going to understand the inner workings of your brain or all of your childhood, which therapy often gets into first. It kind of breaks that down in order to understand who you are now. And I feel like it doesn't have that well-rounded understanding that a therapist would be forced to do with you.
You have had person-to-person therapy before, and you entered some of your questions into your AI chatbot. Can you talk me through the comparisons there?
it came up with this connection that it had taken me years to come to with a therapist. And it's that I have a history of abuse. And I also have this thing called misophonia, which is this like hypersensitivity to noises. And it told me all these reasons why, which was quite confronting because it was in some ways correct, but also it's a lot to learn about yourself without having done any of the work, which is interesting and actually kind of not what therapy is about. It's not about getting from point A to point B, it's the journey from point A to point B, and all the places you go in between them.
Maddie also found that the chatbot she was using often told her what she wanted to hear. And Susie agrees that this can be problematic in therapy.
But it uses very affirmative language, and for some people that can feel absolutely amazing. But I think it's also really important as a human therapist to challenge our clients to sort of expand their window of tolerance, because life is difficult and challenging and we want to empower them to be able to deal with that. Some of the things that I think is particularly important in kind of human to human work is noticing all the non-verbal cues in communication.
In October, OpenAI reported that an estimated 0.15% of its weekly users, that's around 1.2 million people globally, appeared to be expressing suicidal thoughts.
I think when people are going in crisis and, working with chatbots, there is going to be a difficulty in that because there is no safeguarding. There is no way to intervene. And it can often feel like chatbots are colluding with people who are in crisis rather than helping them.
And Susie has this advice for anyone considering turning to a chatbot for emotional support.
Don't limit your support to AI. We listen to podcasts, we get self-help books, we talk to GP, friends and family. I would monitor your usage as well. It's to notice whether actually you're starting to become more reliant on it. And also just notice if it's making you feel better, because if it doesn't, I would advise you to stop and seek professional help.
If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, you can find a range of support services at bbc.co.uk/actionline. For Grace, the convenience of AI offers instant reassurance and a sense of being heard.
But understanding the limitations of how AI works and what it can and cannot do for our well-being is essential before we start to rely on it for all our mental health needs.
I think that's fascinating. In response to this film, OpenAI, ChatGPT's creator, told us that it knows people sometimes turn to ChatGPT in sensitive moments.
Yes, it said it has recently worked with mental health experts and updated models to help ChatGPT recognize signs of distress, respond with care, and guide people towards support.
And added that it will continue evolving ChatGPT to make it as helpful and safe as possible.
Yes, and sticking with the topic of health, it's the festive season of fun for many people, which often means indulging in lots of delicious food and drink. I certainly will be. But Poonam, it can sometimes lead to a rise in certain issues, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not here to be a fun sponge, so we are going to talk. We are going to talk about the fact that it is good to enjoy the food and drink. Christmas is all about that, but it's about the overindulgence. And